Brittany, the mother, explained to Good Morning America that Marigold was born 13 pounds 14 ounces and Lucky was born 13 pounds 11
Jesus
ounces.
Christ. Are they
These
just
are
like,
whoppers, bro.
is the mom taking HGH instead of pregnancy formula? Like, what is
I
going on with these
I'm
babies?
not seeing anything about that. I just know like this baby came out like wanting a double cheeseburger and a cigarette,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
Like,
100%.
welcome to Breaking
Welcome back.
Takes.
Welcome back to
Yes.
Breaking Takes, baby.
That's right. If you're new here, this is where we break down the news and give you our take. I'm Sam. This is Zach. And if you're not new here, that's great. That's what we love to know or hear or think about. I like to think that the same
Yes.
people are coming back and
Yes.
listening to us.
Yes. I like to think we have a good turnover rate, but also our just expert, hard-hitting news analysis is
Yes.
so widespread that I wouldn't be
I know.
surprised if it's just like 80% new audience every week.
Wow.
Just people funneling in and funneling
It would
in and
almost be better that way.
Yeah.
Because we would touch like more of the world if it was like new people every time.
Yeah. I always see top reporters when they're breaking down the news on the top, not the top because we're the top news podcast when it comes to just pure professionalism, but the second
Yes.
place ones, they're always referring to Breaking Takes and BBC. And it's just like
Yes.
those are the top two sources that go back and forth.
Absolutely.
And I think we just edged out BBC. I think New York Times was in
Yeah.
third, but it's good to see us, at our righteous place at the top.
Yeah, right where we belong.
100%.
I'm not surprised at all. How have you been?
I've been good. I've been, we talked a little bit about last week about the protests going on in Panama, where I am currently based, and that is Panama, the country, not Panama City, because I know when I say Panama, a lot of people think Panama City, Florida, and they're like,
Yeah,
holy
I
shit,
thought
like
that
shit's going
originally.
down in Florida. Yeah, people are like, no, of course it is. It's Florida. Like,
Yeah.
people are always just fucking popping off down there. But
That's true.
Panama City, Panama, there was, some shit caught fire this week, and there's an international story about a guy who was white and also Panamanian, shot a couple protesters.
But that's the key there, Zach. You need to break down the news, Zach, because
Yes.
I saw the headline, and the headline in America says that it is a white lawyer that shot two Is it What is a Panama
Panamanian
person?
eco tourists? Panamanian. I
Okay.
think that was the headline. Or
It sounds Panamanian sounds hilarious to me. It's like a Tasmanian devil.
Yeah.
Panamanian
Scandinavian-
protester.
Yeah, Panamanian, Scandinavian, Tasman.
Yeah.
Like all just. So basically, what happened? This is zero headlines. This is what I've uncovered from talking to people around here, and then also translating Panamanian news back into English, so I could actually read what happened. So a guy who he is white presenting. He
looks like a white old man.
Oh, yeah, like a a Caribbean Santa Claus. He's like a kind of tan, but a white dude. He's got the beard. He's got the gut. He was born in Cologne in Panama, went to college in Florida, and then now has been living in Panama for like 30 or 40 plus years. And so he's Panamanian.
Yeah.
And
that's the important part.
Important part, yeah. He then drove up to a roadblock. This is a few days ago, and there's been massive, just countrywide protests. The country of Panama is pissed because, and we covered a lot of this last week, but I'll just briefly go over it for anyone who didn't hear. Canada is paying off the Panamanian government to take over a copper mine down in Panama, $375 million a year. The government said, fuck yeah, we'll take that money, and it's probably not going to go to any Panamanian citizen. It's not going to trickle down at all. And so Panamanian citizens are tired of their country getting plundered for its natural resources, and they're out in the streets, and the government is not backing down. And the way that they're protesting, the main way is roadblocks. They're just roadblocking any street they can, from the countryside to the Pan American Highway that runs from Panama City all the way down to Colombia and then through Central America back into the US. So like these major highways all the way to these little sort of offshoots are being blocked. This guy, the white Panamanian dude, is, obviously somewhat psychotic, has mental issues, because he did shoot two protesters. And
Not cool.
Not cool, yeah. So he went up to the roadblock. He, first of all, was waving around a pistol for a good 30 to 45 seconds. And the two protesters, this is also a big roadblock. So he approached two protesters that were kind of like overseeing things. And
Gotcha.
You can't exactly see what he's saying, but he's kind of waving the pistol, saying, I imagine, like, move, like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Mama Guevo, like Spanish curses, things like that. And the protesters say no. And they don't even look frightened with the gun. And then he kind of just puts the gun down for a second, and then the white Panamanian dude picks the gun back up and just blasts.
Oh my God.
Dude. Just looks like right in the chest. Probably died a few minutes after that.
That's terrible.
Blasts another dude that wasn't on camera. But then there's more video that shows the police like talking kind of around where it happened. There are police at all these protests, but they don't do anything. That's something that the people are pissed about. Is that
yeah, they don't do anything even when people get shot to death.
And they're empty uniforms, essentially.
Nice.
I'm pretty sure the government told them to just show up, but don't do shit, because we don't want the protests to go to the next level. We don't want to give people an excuse, like.
But shooting somebody, I think it's already at the next level. I think it skipped a few levels, actually.
Yeah. So the police just casually watched two guys get shot in the chest, and the police just look like they're talking about where they're gonna go eat lunch after everything gets cleaned up. And then the white Panamanian dude with a gun points at the traffic that's built up behind him because of the roadblock and starts waving people through with his pistol as the police are watching.
It's so wrong and so right at the same time.
Yeah, he's just like, I got us, guys. Like, come on. And people start going through, which I don't blame them, because if I was sitting for 5 hours, if I was sitting for 5 hours, I would just be like, I didn't see shit.
Well, what are you to do? Like, I'm not exiting my car. Like, I am driving through. I think that this guy, like, it's like, okay, you had the right idea, did not go about it the right way. I love the effort in wanting to clear the roadblock. What I don't love is the fact that you murdered two people to do it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's he should have prepared for what he was about to do. And there's a movie called The Other Guys that incorporates a tactical move called the desk pop. I don't know if you've seen this movie or you're familiar with the desk pop.
No.
So basically, Will Ferrell shoots his pistol through the ceiling of the police department. Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg play cops. And Mark Wahlberg tricks Will Ferrell into shooting his gun through the roof of the police precinct, making Will Ferrell think that it's just like a normal procedural thing to do. And Will Ferrell just picks up his gun and shoots directly above his head. And everyone's like, oh my God, what the fuck is happening? It gets people's attention. So I think that this guy should have watched The Other Guys with Spanish subtitles. And then before shooting straight through two people's hearts, should have just pointed up to the sky and been like, I'm pointing this up to heaven, because this is where you're gonna go if you don't move. Just to see what they do.
I like
first.
the threat better than I like the follow through.
Yeah, just like
don't follow through.
Yeah, exactly. So then he pops these two guys. He's waving people through the roadblock for a good, probably seemed like 1 to 2 minutes on the video. And then the police casually saunter over to him, ask for his weapon, because I'm not entirely sure if the police are even carrying guns at this point.
Okay.
And they ask for his weapon. The guy gives up his gun, and they gently escort him into the police car. It's more of an escort than a push.
Yeah.
And he's being held somewhere, maybe in Panama City. I don't know where the
He's
dude
probably
is right
back
now.
home by now.
Yeah.
They probably just drove him back home. It
He's pro-
sounds like
yeah.
it sounds like they didn't really care too much. They're
Yeah.
like, thank you.
Yeah, the
Actually.
police were like, "We're so sorry to bother you with this
Yeah,
roadblock."
sorry to have to bring you out at this hour, but
Yeah, they arrested the two dead guys' families because the victims got in the way of his bullets. They're
seems
apologizing to
like
the white
it.
guy, like, "We're so
Yeah.
sorry they got in the way." Like,
Right?
you know, they roadblocked your bullet with their hearts, and like they
Can't believe it.
you can't get past anything with these, these
Yeah.
protesters. So basically,
Seems
that's
like
what
it.
happened. Shit's been popping off. We're about to leave for a trip this weekend. That is a surprise, actually, because it's for my 30th birthday. My girlfriend's bringing me somewhere. Not sure exactly where we're going, but it's been relatively non-violent since then. There hasn't been anything in the last 48, 72 hours that's popped off. So we're hoping it's going to be relatively peaceful journey. But who knows? I don't have
Yeah, be careful out there.
I don't have a firearm, but I do have a couple water guns. I do have a fly racket.
Yeah, you have a bug killer, a bug zapper.
I could do a zap pop, like if
that's
they don't
right.
I just go like, zzz, like you fucking want this shit, bitch.
Yeah, that's a serious threat. But yeah, so point of the story: if Zach disappears, we know what happened. Don't bring guns to protest. And for our American listeners, here's a little Panama news. Like, read about it. See maybe what you can do to help. Who knows?
Keeping you guys posted. I understand that you have an update on a story from last week.
I do. So last week, at the very end of the episode, I encouraged everybody to go listen to the whole episode. But I touched on a story about an Australian woman who had supposedly, she claims, accidentally cooked a whole meal with death cap mushrooms, which are extremely poisonous, and just accidentally, coincidentally, killed her in-laws and extended family.
Just an oopsie poopsie.
Yeah, just a little mishap. Minor, very minor. So then I, like an 80-year-old woman, I listen to music and read books at the end of my day. And currently I'm reading Lessons in Chemistry, which is a really popular book. It's like a bestseller. Yeah, one of the New York Times notable books of the year. Super popular. I'm not going to spoil the whole book because people should definitely read it, but the premise is it's based on a woman that is a scientist. She does chemistry. And it kind of goes into like a cooking show a little bit. But so I'm reading this book. Literally, this is like the night after that story. I sit down and I start reading this book. So here's a portion of the book. And it just hit close to home after this story. So I'll just read a little excerpt here. It says, and mushrooms are an excellent place to start. If it were me, I'd opt for the Amanita something, also known as the death cap mushroom. Not only does its poison withstand high heat, making it a go-to ingredient for a benign-looking casserole, but it very much resembles its non-toxic cousin, the straw mushroom. So if someone dies and there's an inquiry, you can easily play the dumb housewife and plead mistaken mushroom identity. Is how easily they adapt. So basically, these are really cool mushrooms, she says, because how easily they adapt to different forms. If not a casserole, why not try a stuffed mushroom? And I just, like, what are the chances of me reading? I think that lady read this fucking book and straight up was like, oh my God, it'll be so easy to play the dumb housewife. And claim mistaken mushroom.
Yeah. I think we have a true crime.
This
is true
evidence.
Crime Inception?
Yes. This is evidence right here. We're going to see a documentary about this, and this is going to be in her public library recently read. I swear to God.
Yeah. I don't doubt it. Because I'm just I want to see that moment where she's she just hates her family. She's like, how do I get rid of my fucking dumbass kids and like whoever was at the table. It was what was it? Her husband and some other relatives and stuff
Yeah,
like
so
that.
her in-laws, her
In-laws,
husband
yeah,
was
that's right.
separated, but yeah, so his parents like siblings, so she had like in-law, just her extended family through her husband.
Yeah. That's a movie right there. Someone
Yes.
that's like a horror comedy movie where someone just decides that they're gonna kill their in-laws and they're gonna try to poison them and get away with it. So
Yeah,
maybe she was reading this book
she was.
and she goes, I hate my fucking in-laws.
Yep.
They all suck. And she's reading it, and I want to see that moment where it just clicked. I wish she was filming herself where she just looks up from the book and
She
goes,
like highlighted it. She's like, that's a really good idea.
yeah, she's just a moment of deadly
Light
clarity.
bulb. Light
Yeah,
bulb moment right there.
100%.
Genius, genius. Not suspicious at all, but I just thought that was really interesting because, sometimes in life you just suddenly things click for you. And when I read that, it clicked. These stories just went together. And I was like, this fucking lady killed her husband's family and is playing dumb. And
Who?
this is alleged because she's not, she
Yeah.
has not been convicted at this point in time.
Have you seen anyone else posting any theories about this online or about the story? Has anyone else realized this yet? That it's basically the
No, I
same
think I
situation?
just cracked this. I have not seen or heard anything. This book didn't just come out yesterday either. It's kind of like, it's been around the block, so I think a lot of people probably forgot about it. I just happen to be reading it right now. And now I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, it's right here. All the evidence is right here. If she has checked out this book or owned this book, this needs to go to court.
Yeah.
Because this is a little too verbatim what happened here.
I think I found your true calling.
Well, yeah.
I had a project in this is like my senior year in college, and it was a hip hop elective course. And during this course, one of the things that
Okay.
we learned is that the police precincts, a lot of them follow rap lyrics in case
Hmm.
any of them connect to real life crimes. Because a lot of
Yeah.
times rappers will brag about their crimes
Yeah. There's
in the
this something
lyrics.
going on right now with a rapper that
Yeah.
I don't know who because I don't follow all these rappers, but there's some rapper right now that the judge just ruled that like it was allowed that they use these lyrics as evidence.
Yeah, yeah, like happens all the time. This is the reverse of that. This is
I mean,
you
Bobby Shmurda, am I right?
100%. This is the reverse of that. This is you going through fictionalized stories and then
Yeah.
finding other stories that happened in real life and connecting it back to popular fictional deaths or fictional crimes. So
Yeah.
you're a fictional crime watchdog that can
That's
have real
fucking
life
right.
consequences.
That is right. You heard it here first, people. I swear, 2 years from now, when you are sitting on the couch watching this Netflix documentary and they're talking about how lessons in chemistry by Bonnie Garmis
Yeah.
cause someone's family to die,
Yeah.
you'll just
100%.
think of me.
I'm gonna flex real quick because they're probably gonna use this clip in the documentary. So I just
Oh,
want to
yeah,
make my
wait.
neck. I just want
Wait.
to
Oh,
make
my
my
God.
neck look bigger. All
Wait.
right, Netflix, you can start recording now.
Bro. Yeah, I don't even know. That was crazy. You look like an action figure or something.
I feel like I'm a retarded Ninja Turtle, just like slowly seeping into my shell.
Yeah. Yeah. You
Yeah.
got to like sink the neck in a little bit. That was good.
But yeah, they're gonna take this clip. They're gonna take what you've said and they're gonna use this connection
I
in the
know.
court of law. I do not doubt it. So I think this is definitely worthy of a weekly update or bi-weekly, however
Absolutely.
long the story keeps progressing.
I'm going to become a reporter on this case. I'm
Yeah.
going to Australia.
Yes. I
Subscribe to the Patreon so you can fund my trip to Australia so I can cover this story.
Yeah. Behind bars, down under. Coming
That's
to you
right.
straight from Breaking Takes.
Yeehaw.
Yeah. So I don't have. I'm trying to think
No
of any
transitions.
sort of.
Come on.
uh. So speaking of people who want other people dead, who just have an extreme hatred
That's a
for
large
a
pool of
certain
the
group of people.
population.
Some people hate in-laws, other people, they hate the Jews, and this
Oh
is
no.
this is a story that will have to do with one of those. And that is how you transition. So
That was really smooth.
Netflix can use that. Wait, let me say that again. So, Indiana woman crashes her car into what she thought was a Jewish school on purpose. So,
Okay.
ag- this is a wild
So,
story.
anti-Semitic lady sets
Anti-Semitic,
out to
yes.
murder Jewish children.
We're gonna find
Was a
out. So
school?
she
Okay.
thought she was
Well, yeah, it
ramming into a
wasn't
Jewish
actually a
school,
school, but
and it was
that was
something
her
else.
intent.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
just imagine someone racist on a mission that like doesn't hit the thing they were planning on. Like that. This is how
Did she
wild.
just miss or she just actually had the address wrong?
It sounds like it could be a combination of both. So
Okay.
this is from the Independent. So a woman intentionally crashed her car into what she thought was a Jewish school because she was angry about the Israel-Hamas war, Indianapolis police said. Indianapolis police said that she responded to the crash on Friday at 11:30 p.m. When they arrived, Ruba Almegthay, 34, told police officers she had been watching the news and, quote, couldn't breathe anymore in reference to the Palestine people. So this is just a PSA to anyone who's out there watching the news. If you are watching a news segment and you can't breathe, go to the hospital. Go call
Seriously.
call an Uber.
Yeah.
Don't
Call your
get in your
doctor.
car and head towards a school just
Yeah.
being like, oh shit, what, like you're just on Twitter trying to decide which side you're for based on the
But
news segment.
she
you're
couldn't
like,
breathe. She obviously could breathe well enough to be driving around.
yeah, it's like if she couldn't breathe, this school must have been 30 seconds away from her because
Right?
I don't think I could drive more than a half a mile holding my breath if the school
Yeah,
was
no.
further than that. So yeah, if you're watching a news segment and all of a sudden, your lungs collapse and you're gasping for air, uh, you know, put off the target for a little bit and you get some help because this I'm not a fan of domestic terrorism or any terrorism in general, but if you're gonna go for a target, you want to be full of oxygen. You want to be fully so like even if you're
And
gonna
when
do
it gets
something
to your
bad,
brain,
exactly,
your
yeah,
brain needs oxygen.
exactly. You don't. I can guarantee. Look, just hats off to Al Qaeda. You can't. 9/11 was a bullseye. Let's just say that. Like that was horrible, but like they hit their target. If they were doing like inhaler pulls as they were trying to drive into the buildings, they probably would have hit Philadelphia instead of New York and just like landed on some dry patch somewhere. So like this is not just about terrorism. This is about your general health. You want to be able to, have a full lung capacity.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was it? It wasn't a school.
Wasn't a school. So she police said that she had passed the Israelite school of universal and practical knowledge several times, calling it the Israel school. And she told officers, "Yes, I did it on purpose." Police said that people were in the building at the time of the crash, but no one was injured. However, the building that Al Magthay crashed into, in fact, it is not a Jewish school. The Anti-Defamation League says the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge is in fact an extremist organization that is anti-Israel and anti-Semitic. So she
That's
tried to
great.
plow into a Jewish school and she
Hmm.
hit the exact opposite. Like, not only
That
did she
is
miss, she
life just coming together for us
yeah,
all.
yeah. She hit an anti-Semitic school because apparently she saw the symbol that
Yeah.
it's not even a Jewish star, but it's like some sort of depiction that if you can't breathe, if there's no oxygen in your
Yeah.
brain and your vision starts to blur, I could see someone going like, "Oh, that's like a Jewish flag, I think. Let me go towards that one." But it's not. It's the exact
Yeah.
opposite. She went into the school, and yeah, I'm just like, I wish that I could be a fly on the window of that car for the moment where she was just so amped up. Just full of adrenaline, no breath inside her, just like her vision's starting to go. And she hits the school and she's like, "Oh my God, I did it." And then she looks up and it's just like anti-Semitic flags all over the place. And she just goes,
It's like all
"Fuck,"
her
as she's
friends are
passing
in the
out.
room.
Yeah, yeah,
She realized she ran over all her friends,
yeah.
her anti-Semitic friends.
Yeah, they're like, "Ruba, is that you?" And she's like, "Wait, what?" And then she just passes out.
I so wait, so then what happened to her? Is she alive? Like she's okay at the hospital or something, or did she die?
She's alive. She
Okay.
had minor injuries. No one was injured in the school. I
Okay.
don't even know if it was structural. I'm sure there was some sort of structural damage, but like I don't even know if the people in the school knew that something happened. Like they might have just went on with class and were like, "Oh, that's a
Uh-huh.
weird sound," the
Yeah.
thunder or something. And so yeah, the police came to arrest her. She told her story, which was reported in the news, and it's interesting because the every news article says Indiana woman crashes her car into what she thought was a Jewish school, and there's 1 to 2 articles that mention her support of Hamas. She had posted things
Yeah.
on social media in support of Hamas.
Hmm.
Might have ties to Palestine, like she mentioned Palestinians, and it was posting pro Hamas things. But only 1 to 2 articles actually mention that connection. The rest just call her Indiana woman. So to me, this is like if a pro Al Qaeda guy living in Manhattan drove into a
Yeah.
school and they called him a New York dude. Like, he's just a New York guy.
I
He's
swear, like the media picks and chooses like what it wants to do. But this is a great story of like just kind of to me, this is perfect of explaining like how stupid some of these people are. Like the fact that no research was done. Like she didn't even
zero.
Google Maps. She didn't even Google Maps this place just to like double check. She is watching the news with her one brain cell. It starts losing oxygen.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I need to do something about it. I'm going to go kill some Jewish people my fucking self. And
Yeah.
then she instead does the exact opposite. It's just like this. Imagine this story, but like multiplied. That is the world we live in right now, where there are people that are actually this stupid
Yeah.
to do the exact opposite of the thing they intended to do, which in this case, I'm grateful for because this
Yeah.
obviously would have been a terrible tragedy and a
Yeah.
hate crime.
This is MapQuest terrorism. She's living in the 20th
Yeah.
century with MapQuest. She's going like, I think it's a left here, it's a right here. I kind of have the directions on this piece of paper. We're in the age of Google Maps terrorism. We now have a Google Earth. Like,
Pull it up.
step your
Just
game.
you can
Yeah.
even street view. You can drop yourself right on the street and take a look around. Like just you
Yeah.
could probably zoom into the windows. Take a
Oh,
gander, you
yeah.
know?
You could see the Jewish people avoiding the building at all costs if you looked at Google Earth or you just scouted out the you run into a Jewish person on the street that lives in a neighborhood and they go like, yeah, no, not there. They want to kill me. And you're just like, all right, 30 seconds of recon and I found out that
Yeah.
that's not the right target. But I think the funny thing is that she's basically this American woman that's a Hamas fangirl, but Hamas wouldn't even take her because she
Yeah.
missed. Like Hamas, you could
You
say a lot of
suck.
things about Hamas, but Hamas did not miss. They were planning for a long time. They did their recon. They did their research. If she contacted Hamas and was like, "Hey, I'm a big fan. I'm thinking about getting a flight over," she would be thrown out of Hamas boot camp in 40 seconds. Like she would be just completely like, we don't need your white wine Xanax mom bullshit. Like save that stuff for ISIS. We're Hamas. Like
Yeah.
we're the real shit.
I don't even know. I feel like Americans are so annoying to me sometimes. Like, I mean, uh, what makes you sit there and be like, I'm a Hamas fangirl?
I
Like,
don't know.
what? Where do you? I don't get that. Like, okay, cool. I'm just number one fan of a terrorist group right now. That's
Yeah.
what I'm feeling. Where can I donate? Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand that.
Maybe this, like, if let's say your favorite sports team loses the World Series or loses the Super Bowl, like, and you're just looking for something to root for. I'm just giving her the insane benefit of the doubt. Like, this is the
Yeah.
most
Okay.
charitable view.
All right.
She's uh, it was, who was the World Series? It was Rangers
Yeah,
and
the Rangers won. It was the Rangers against. Why did I already like delete it from my mind? Who the hell was it? It was the Diamondbacks.
Diamondbacks. Yeah,
Okay.
Rangers against Diamond. Let's say just huge Diamondbacks fan. She's from Phoenix, moved to Indiana. She watches them lose. She's a lifelong fan. She's posting on Facebook, posting on Twitter about it. She's just like, God damn it, that my life's over. The Diamondbacks lost. Then all of a sudden, she starts getting these Facebook groups pro Hamas. They start coming down.
Where? I'm like, where even are they though?
Facebook is wild. Like I'll be scrolling
That's
through
true.
like cooking stuff, and then I'll see an ad for a vibrator, and I'm like, well, technically those are both implements, but like,
Yeah.
why am I getting and maybe she like sees people in Hamas wearing jerseys, and she's like, well, I mean, this is another event going on that I could tie my self worth to. So
Yeah.
maybe this is just sports fanaticism plus lack of oxygen plus just
Yeah.
getting fucked up on a daily basis, all coming together at once. Because I think she was also on some drugs too. They said there was some shit
Goodness.
in her system, which is not a surprise.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That makes sense.
I don't think there's anything sadder if I was to actually see that drive by and wonder what's going on. Like let's say I was a Jewish person in the school that she was supposed to hit, and I'm just standing in the playground outside the school. I don't think there's anything sadder than seeing a terrorist screaming at you, being like, "I hate you, I hate the Jew," and then totally missing and
Just
driving
driving
past you
by.
and hit another building, and your car just explodes, and like you're just standing there going like, "I'm glad they missed, but also that was really sad." I kind of feel
Yes.
bad for the terrorists. Like,
Yeah. I don't know. It's crazy what's going on in the world right now. I was
yeah,
just thinking, like, I'll be honest, like, I guess I underestimated the anti-Semitism that's happening in the world because I don't know. I mean, our generation, you're a little bit older than me, but like growing up, I didn't really give a shit about this at all. Like, this was never a conversation. Like,
yeah,
first of all, like, the Holocaust happened forever ago, at least in like my brain as a child. And now I'm older and it's like there's so much anti-Semitism going on right now. It's actually literally alarming.
yeah.
So,
I thought it was
yeah, it's
done.
it's
I,
fucking crazy. So, shout out to my Jewish friends cuz life is hard right now for you guys. I am sorry.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I thought I grew up thinking the world was Jewish because my dad was Jewish. I was raised Catholic, but my town that I grew up in is like 70% Jewish. So
Ah,
I was just, in seventh grade with, my little weird, awkward boners going from bar mitzvah to bar mitzvah, doing those
yeah.
sober grinding
Oh
weekends,
no.
and I was like, this, like, if the world is like this is awesome. You just, every weekend, it's just another party. You get a gift bag, you get a
Yeah,
t-shirt.
fuck
Everyone knows
yeah.
you're cool on Monday because you're wearing the bar mitzvah t-shirt.
Okay.
And then, I mean, like, I would hear about anti-Semitism when I was in college, and then in New York, there's a huge mix of people, so like you don't really, you hear some incidents, but it's just here and there. And I feel like now with the
Yeah, it's
Hamas
crazy.
Israel conflict, there's just like
I
I'm
mean, it started
so
before
taken
that,
aback.
but now it's like super bad, obviously, because like they're for real at war with each other over there. But it started before that because even Kanye was going crazy.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Now, like, looking back on that whole period where Kanye was just going on all of these big podcasts and basically just using other people's podcasts as a mouthpiece to be like, should we trust the Jews?
So
Now it
insane.
doesn't look now it doesn't
Yeah.
look so good. They're like, oh, it's just Kanye. And then now everyone's like, should we trust the Jews? And we're just like,
Oh my God.
but
It's crazy.
but
I don't
yeah.
know. I'm glad that lady missed. I wish her nothing but the worst. Um,
Yes.
and I do want her to breathe more. I want her to breathe because perhaps the more oxygen she gets to her brain, the more she'll be able to use it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Work.
I hope she stops watching the news and starts taking deep breaths
Yeah.
and stops harassing people and trying to kill people.
Yeah, 100%. Put some breath work into your Hamas Facebook group post. Put some self-care, some meditation. Don't just like incite people without any direction, you know. There was one more thing that I saw that's not necessarily this story, but it's kind of connected, and I think
Okay.
it was also hilarious. There were videos of pro Hamas hot girls twerking on TikTok. So
What?
they were like twerking, and they had captions basically saying like pro Hamas, Arabic, English thing. If you need to get the door, that's
I'm
we
like,
could.
I don't even know who that is. Yeah, let me just go see
Yeah.
what's happening. Just a random sidebar for the people. The doorbell like triggers me. Like I get mad when people ring the doorbell. I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. That's a
Stop
shrill
ringing the
one.
fucking doorbell. I'm
That's a
busy here making a podcast.
Yeah, it's like there's a Sebastian Maniscalco joke. I don't know if you know Sebastian Maniscalco.
I do.
So he has a joke where he's like just telling the difference between ringing the doorbell back in the day 20 years ago to what it's like when someone comes to your front door now. And
Hmm.
I won't butcher the joke, but it's really funny. So if you want some doorbell shenanigans, go just Google search Sebastian Maniscalco doorbell.
I need to do like studies on why it's just like so loud to me that I'm
Yeah.
like, you just like made me mad. Like loud noises they just make me mad.
Yeah. I
I'm like,
thought it was
stop
something
it.
here
Even though
for a second.
they're doing their job, you know,
Yeah.
dropping off a package. I'm always nice to the person. It's just my initial reaction. I literally don't know why my brain is like this. Like my initial reaction is like pure anger. Like
Yeah.
for like a millisecond, I'm like, what was that?
Yeah. And then you get in your car and start driving towards the school, but then you take a
Towards
deep
the
breath.
Amazon
Yeah.
facility.
Yeah. Then you take a deep breath and you're like, I don't I don't have to do
Yeah,
this. But yeah, there
perfect.
apparently there's videos circulating on TikTok of basically like hot girls in bikinis
Okay.
twerking in front of pro Hamas messages or like I love Hamas t-shirts. Some of them are
Yeah.
Arabic, some of them look like they're white girls from like
Oh,
literally
definitely.
Indiana or for like basically just thinking that they're, doing something good
That's
for the
why that
war,
place was empty and nobody
being
was
an
injured was
influencer.
because they're all
They're
they're
all
all over
influencing.
there. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're all busy
exactly.
influencing and twerking.
So terrorist organizations have groupies now. So this is just a PSA for all you struggling music artists or creatives, if you're looking for rock star groupies, you could just join Hamas, and that is a shortcut to getting
Yeah.
groupies apparently now, because terrorist organizations are now apparently just drowning in pussy. So
That
that is an
is
option.
insane. We can't tell you how long you'll live
Oh
or,
yeah, you'll die for
if
sure.
yeah, that no guarantee.
Yeah,
But if you are truly desperate, there's always something.
yeah. So yeah, that was one of the most wildest stories I've seen in recent memory. So I'm glad we could go through that together.
Oh, yeah. And my stories are on much lighter topics, Zachary.
North
And
Korea.
yes. Now let's switch over to the Ukraine and Russia war. And yeah, much lighter news.
Oh my
No,
god.
so yeah, we recapped the mushroom story. That was great. So I don't have a transition either. We're just not feeling it today. We're just gonna skip over to the next story.
That's fine.
Um, but and I guess let me think. Let me try and think of one. No, I don't get enough
Hey,
air up there.
sometimes you don't set up the cross
Yeah,
with the jab. Sometimes you when you see an opening, you just throw the
yeah,
straight cross. So
that's right.
you've seen your opening. You don't need to set
Okay.
it up.
Well, the headline is what made me like this story, as most of the stories I choose do. So the headline is Canadian mom welcomes enormous child into the world. And I love that because if I just couldn't wait to grow older and know that I've been fucking enormous since the
Yeah.
day that I came into
Yeah.
this world. How
I'm pic
sweet.
I'm picturing like a Wally sized baby right now, like one of those fat
Yeah,
blobs that
like
you just see in the beginning
huge.
of the movie. Yeah.
Yeah. So in late October, a Canadian couple welcomed a baby that weighed nearly twice the size of an average newborn. Brittany Ayers gave birth to her fifth child, a baby boy named Sonny. And let's see. But she and her husband Chance's bundle of joy. So Brittany and Chance had a baby named Sonny, and he came in at 14 pounds and 8 ounces and measured 21.65 inches long. Sonny's birth weight became a record. So this is the world record for biggest baby
God damn.
ever born.
God damn,
And
dude.
yeah, I mean, so first, this is her fifth kid. That's insane. Stop now before the next one comes out like walking already. You must stop.
Yeah. I guess the good thing about having a baby that size is that the next one is just gonna come out of your pussy like a water slide, no matter
Well, so
what
that's
size it
what's
is.
kind of been happening. So in the article, so Sonny, who joins his three older brothers, Chance Jr., Everett, and Lucky, and older sister Marigold, was not an anomaly for this family. Brittany, the mother, explained to Good Morning America that Marigold was born 13 pounds 14 ounces and Lucky was born 13 pounds 11
Jesus
ounces.
Christ. Are they
These
just
are
like
whoppers, bro.
are they is the mom taking HGH instead of pregnancy formula? Like what is
I
going on with these
I'm
babies?
not seeing anything about that. I just know like this baby came out like wanting a double cheeseburger and a cigarette,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
Like,
100%.
um,
It's just coming out just like where are my Marlboro Reds? Have it lit for me.
right?
Because my baby hands can't light it yet. The doctor's just fucking lighting it up. He's using the lighter to first cut the umbilical cord, and then he's putting it right to the cigarette for the
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah. So I did a little bit of digging because this just horrifies me in general. I'm like, how do babies first of all get so fucking big? My
Yeah.
girlfriend, who is a scientist like yours, also said that scientifically, like babies are getting bigger. Like
Mm.
as time goes on, babies are for the majority getting bigger and women are going to be adapting to like have bigger babies. So our canals, listen, lady, listen, ladies out there, do your
Yeah.
Kegels now. Okay.
Yeah.
Because the canal is only expanding.
Is there is there a reason? This is making me think about the Panama. Every time I hear canal, I think about the Panama
No.
Canal. I'm just imagining a giant fucking baby getting stuck in the Panama Canal, trying to make its way through. The ships are honking behind him, like, yo, what the fuck is going on? Is this
Yeah.
is there, have you talked to either your girlfriend or in the article, does it say the reason for the uptick in baby sizes?
Yeah, so it says this doesn't happen in every case, but that there is evidence to suggest that subsequent babies get bigger. So, like, as you continue to have babies, and in this case, they had five, it makes sense that they're getting bigger as she goes along. So, that's one thing. And then it also says some studies suggest that if you're expecting a boy, his birth weight will depend on the sex of your previous child. So if your last
Mm,
baby was a boy as well, your next is likely to weigh less than him. If your last baby was a girl, then your new baby, which will be a boy, will probably weigh more than her. However, there seems to be no effect on weight if you're expecting a girl because we don't
okay.
fucking listen from
Yeah.
jump. From the
Yeah.
jump, we're not doing anything for
In-
society anymore.
Interesting. I mean, this is exactly why we're above BBC in terms of our source material because
Yeah.
of these hard hitting scientific facts right here.
I mean, duh. Like, but I just thought it was a PSA. I know we're getting around baby making age, approaching you're 30 now. You're old as hell.
Yeah.
I'm approaching 30. I mean, it's time. Our friends are getting married, having babies, and I just want them to know like I don't want them to be surprised when their baby comes out a miniature sumo wrestler. I want them
Yeah.
to be prepared.
When it
So
looks like
that's
the
why I'm here
Michelin Man.
today. Exactly.
It looks like a fucking just blob of
How do you even
rolls put
give
together.
birth like to a baby that big? Like that's scary. I could never give birth because the thought of like I just would be like, never mind. Like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
Once I get to the hospital, I'm like, actually, I'm scared. I don't
Yeah.
want to do it anymore.
I mean, I know this is kind of like such a hack premise because people have said this before, but I think about the biggest shits I've ever taken when I hear stories like this, and I cannot imagine like some like very very painful shit like where I'm
Damn.
literally
Are you
tearing up.
constipated?
Just the size of it, I guess, is stretching my virgin asshole.
Dude.
Maybe that's a problem that I just need to start taking more
Yeah, you need to
things
loosen
in
up.
to loosen it up.
Yes.
Maybe that's a solution with these bigger babies. Women like if they're married to a guy with an average size cock, they just need like a training dildo that's just fat as the baby to go in before the pregnancy to sort of dig out a hole.
I
I
mean,
don't know.
I'm sure that some women have actually done that.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
preparing.
be surprised. Yeah, I am sure, but I just I don't know. I could never ever. Oh wait. Oh, never mind. I just saw something, but then it was tragic. The last line in the article says the Guinness Book of World Records lists the heaviest newborn birth on record at 22 pounds in 1879, which negates what I just said that this was the biggest baby. But the 22 pounder, passed away shortly after birth. So I guess it doesn't count for like not surviving.
Yeah, just I'm
But I was
imagining that.
like, oh my God, a 22 pounder. And then I immediately was like, oh,
Could you imagine a
RIP.
doctor in 1879 where the average human is
Jesus.
smaller and they're probably like, worst comes to worst, this baby will be 9 or 10 pounds because the average in 1879 is around six
So
or seven,
crazy.
and a 22-pound baby comes out and the doctor just blows his head off because I no chance. I don't know how to keep this baby alive. This is
Yeah.
insane.
The baby's likely to like start calling the shots right
Yeah.
away.
Can
Um,
we talk about is there a study that shows why these parents gave all their children dog names. Like, well, like it was like Chance, Lucky,
Yeah,
Junior, and Marigold.
Marigold.
Like those are dog names. Like,
No,
what was the
you're right. Well, you are right. So, and also, just to make it worse, Brittany, the mother, do you want to guess how Brittany is spelled?
Is it with an I or two E's or something
So it's
weird?
Britt, everything normal thus
Yeah.
far. But then we start veering off. Then it goes Eney. So
Oh God.
Britteney. So Brittany is
Jesus.
how I would pronounce it. Brittany and Chance. So Chance, it's a recipe because we've got Brittany over here with her
Yeah.
name not spelled correctly. And then we have Chance.
Brittany.
Chance, who's already chanced at having a dog name.
Yeah.
So it just continued from there.
Is there another one named Marley? Marley and me. Marigold and
Um,
Marley.
yeah. So Chance, Everett, Lucky, and Marigold, and Sunny now.
Yeah, I mean, some of those are borderline human names, but
Yes.
still, like
But they're all
Chance and
kind of
Lucky and
pet
Marigold.
names. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
when you get them in a bunch like that, like just Everett would be fine or just Chance. But when you get them in a group, you're like,
Yeah,
is this like a dog park? Where am I?
yeah, yeah. People were starting to go a little weird with the name. I've seen celebrities starting to name their kids Magic or
Yeah.
Midnight, like fucking Northern Lights, Aurora Borealis. I'm sure someone's named their kid. I don't know where. People are trying too hard. I feel like everyone's kind of
Yeah,
like in
I
that
agree.
hipster mentality of I want my
Yeah,
kid to have that cool name that no one's
I
ever had
agree.
in their life, and they're just like, I'm gonna name them Socket Plug, and you're like, all right, dude, like they're
Can't wait.
yeah, it's gonna be
No, I
electric.
agree with you. I think you and I have like classic names. Like Sam and Zach have been around for a long time.
Oh yeah, tried and true, biblical.
Exactly.
The book of
I don't, I
there's
mean,
Sam's in the Bible. Samuel.
Samuels. Yeah.
There's maybe a Samantha in there somewhere.
Probably not. They don't really talk about women in like those books that much.
Yeah, they just call him like
There's
that
no main
person.
character.
It's just her or like bitch in the Bible.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Jesus said to that bitch, "You
Yeah.
will come forth if you."
I think I read that in Sunday school once.
Yeah, that cunt needs to get out of my house. Book of Jesus.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what do you think of the theory? Because we're on names, and I've actually thought about this recently because a couple of my friends are having kids. Do you think you become your name? Do you think you can control the outcome of your child's personality based on what you name them?
Yeah, I mean, that is a tough question. I feel like it's a hard question because I feel very much like a Sam. So I do feel really aligned with my name.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. Like, I don't know if I'm the right person to ask. Like, maybe we need to go ask like a Becky. Like, is it like, do you like being called Becky? Like,
There's
do
no
you?
way I'd be talking to the same person right now if you were named Becky. There's
Right?
no
I
chance.
feel that. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
So I
like
don't know. What about you? I mean, to be fair, I think you could have a different name. Like, I don't know,
I
Ryan. You could be a Ryan.
yeah, maybe, but I do feel I don't know. It's kind of a like how do you even experiment that? Do you? I guess maybe you need identical twins or change their name or something. But I feel so identified with my name
Yeah.
that if if I was Steve, I feel like I'd be different. Like I just wouldn't
Yeah, you're
be.
not a Steve. Not a
I
Steve.
my nickname, one of my nicknames in college, my baseball team called me Sven because they thought I looked European.
Gotcha.
So
I get that a
Sven.
lot. Yeah.
I was also called Meat Gazer because at like literally for 1 second in the locker room my freshman
You were,
year, apparently
yeah.
I zoned out on someone's penis in the shower and they were like, "Oh, he's staring at meat, so Meat Gazer." But that went
Sure.
away with
All
Sven.
right.
That just,
Okay.
I mean, look, it's a baseball locker room. Things go on.
Hey, I'd be staring too.
Yeah. I mean, it's just what happens,
I don't blame you.
Just what happens. So Sven, meat gaze. I mean, if I was called, like, realistically, I should ask my parents what other names they were
Well,
considering for
okay. Well,
me.
what? Just think about your brothers, right? So you
Yeah.
have Dave, right? That's your
He's a Dave. Yeah. Dave
yeah,
and Matt.
that's your younger brother, and Matt's your older brother.
Yeah.
Do you feel like just with those three names that like they could be interchanged like amongst you, the three of you? I
I
think you
think,
guys look like it, maybe like from the outside. I do think Dave is a Dave, but I
yeah.
think like he could have been a Matt. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's hard to tell. It's one of those things that's pretty much impossible to experiment on, but I feel like you do it because a name is a word, and words are language, and language has meanings. And this sounds like the beginning of a TED talk, but
Yeah. Okay,
that,
Jordan Peterson.
yeah, and
Slow
language,
down.
yeah,
I'm,
yeah.
I'm getting confused.
Yes, and it's basically if someone said a word to me 20 times a day, and they just said, flowers, flower. And every time someone got my attention, they just call me flowers. I feel like that would affect my psychology somehow, whether
Hmm.
conscious or unconscious. It would affect my being because words do have meaning, no matter how benign or,
Yeah.
controversial they seem. And a word, a name is just a word that people call themselves. So it's like that word can over time shift the way you think about yourself and maybe the way that you think about the world. But again, who
Yeah.
knows?
No, I agree. I don't know. I definitely feel like a Sam. Yeah, I don't know. My dad wanted to name me Storm, which
Mm.
ended up not happening. And we might have touched on this before, but yeah. So I guess I don't care either way. Like I think I could have embodied both of those names, Sam, Storm. I'm happy being a Sam though. So
I could see you as a storm. You're kind of wearing a stormy
I
shirt right
am
now too. It's got
actually.
it's got
Yeah.
like the clouds and
Yes, it's like
thunder
looks like
patterns.
a thunder or lightning storm tie-dye
Yeah.
shirt. But yeah, so I don't know. I do think yes. I am going to say yes. What you name your child kind of predicts their future.
Yeah.
And so I think that's part of the reason why, naming your child Storm is not always the best thing because it's kind of predicting they're going to have a stormy life.
Yeah.
But who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, it's still a cute name. It's kind of like didn't Kylie Jenner and Travis Scott had their second kid and named him Wolf, but then like right away
Wolf
after
or
yeah,
was
Wolf like the
wolf.
animal.
Wolf. Okay.
Not woof like I'm
I thought you said
barking
wolf for
at
a second.
you.
I was like, they named him
Like
a sound of an animal. And
WOOF.
they named their first child Moo and the second child
Yeah.
Woof.
Yeah, the next one's Oink.
Oink is on the
Um
way.
exactly. But no, so it was Wolf like the animal. But then they were like that just doesn't fit his vibe. So then they went through the whole name change process
Yeah.
and renamed him Air. So, because I guess they just felt like Wolf obviously gives you more like I'm a badass, like I'm tough, like maybe I am very independent, like type
Yeah.
of personality. And Air is more like light and gentle and
Yeah.
just like chilling. So I don't know. Yeah.
I think the way that we settle this is that we both have kids because we need two to make a good study group. It can't just be one person.
Yeah.
And then we raise them with one name for the first 10 years of their life. We induce long-term amnesia to make them forget everything before that. And then we
Okay.
change their name. We tell them when they wake up their name is something else, and then we track their behavior for the next 10 years so we can see, does the name change affect their behavior? And of course, inducing brain injury upon your child
Yeah.
probably also would affect their behavior, but like I don't
Usually.
know how else how else do you
There's
induce
only one
amnesia?
way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
so
only one option we have.
the jury again, just this is why we're above BBC, because we're not only giving sources, but we're changing science. We're changing the sources that
We're
people are
willing
going to
to
use.
do what has to be done.
100%.
So yeah,
So
that's all I have. Just a simple PSA, people. Be careful out there. Start doing your Kegels. You don't want to have a 15-pounder.
yeah. So there's a PSA from some former royals, from Prince Harry and Meghan. Speaking of
Great.
PSAs,
Yeah.
so Prince Harry and Meghan Markle slam the quote unquote savage Family Guy attack as an outrageous slur. So
Okay.
basically, Family Guy had a scene in a recent episode that was depicting Harry and Meghan, and then Harry and Meghan came out and wanted everyone to know this Family Guy depiction of us is not accurate at all. This is horrible. This is terrible. And we're gonna get into that scene, exactly what it says. I feel like if we played it, we'd probably get taken down off YouTube because it's
Yeah.
copyrighted. But I can still describe what's happening in the scene because
Yeah.
I
Well, you
watched a clip
act
of
it
it.
out for
Yeah.
us, please.
Exactly. So I'll give some background information first. So Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are reportedly less than impressed with the recent Family Guy episode that mocked the runaway royals. Sources close to the Duke and Duchess of Sussex claim that the pair have labeled the quote savage episode as a quote outrageous slur, according to Closer magazine. So now I thought a slur was for racist or like bigoted stuff, but now apparently insults are slurs too.
I
Um,
guess, depending
but
on what they said. Yeah.
we'll go into it. So the couple found themselves the butt of a joke in a recent episode of the series in which their money-hungry ways were mercilessly mocked by the animated show. The pair, who quit royal life in 2020, have been feeling like, quote, they're not being taken seriously enough by people, and that, quote, they can't catch a break. So I wanted to use this platform to announce a PSA of my own, which is I stand with Harry and Meghan, and I think we need to give them a break because giving them $100 million from Netflix is not enough. We need to give them more because they're feeling a little bit insensitive. They're feeling a little bit outraged about an animated show that poked fun of the 100 millionaires. Again, we're going to get into what happened. But first, I want to say
Yeah,
that
I
please,
wanna
guys,
know.
stop annoying the 100 millionaires. You're not allowed to do that. You can't
Stop.
go with these people.
Yeah. I want to know what really happened though. I'm really interested.
So the episode in question roasted the couple over their Netflix deal, rumored to be worth 100 million, and showed Peter Griffin, voiced by Seth MacFarlane, on an adventure to become a TV extra to make money. So here's the scene. So Peter is lying on a pool, like they're basically like stretched out at a pool on pool chairs with each other. And Peter says, "I'll go it alone, just like Meghan Markle and Prince Harry." Then the scene cuts to, oh, sorry, I messed that up. So
Oh
Peter
my
is,
gosh.
I know.
Rewind, people. Rewind.
Okay. This is another unrelated scene, but Peter says, "I'll go it alone, just like Meghan Markle and Prince Harry." And then this leads to one of like the flashback / cuts to another scene that Family Guy is so
Okay.
classically known for. The scene then cuts to animated versions of Harry and Meghan lounging by a pool when their butler comes with a stack of envelopes. The butler says, "Sir, your millions from Netflix for no one knows what is here." And the butler says that to Harry, which Harry replies, "Put it with the rest of them." Meghan Markle then urged Harry that the pair needs to create a $250,000 sponsored Instagram post for Del Taco. The clip then ends with Harry seemingly expressing some regret over his privileged life in Britain as he announces, quote, "I shouldn't have left the made up nonsense." So it's just like a really quick, literally like a 15-second cut and Family Guy, and Harry's just like, yeah, put my checks with the pile of all the other money we have, and then they
Hmm.
do the Instagram sponsored post, and then Harry says, I should have left the made up nonsense, and then Harry and Meghan are apparently outraged at this, but like my thing is that like if you're rich and you're in made up nonsense, which let's face it, a lot of rich people just they either inherit money and they're just like kind of engrossed in a lot of bullshit family politics to hang on to their money,
Hmm.
or they invent something that doesn't actually do anything, but somehow they get billions of dollars in Silicon Valley and then they pull their money out before anything comes to fruition, like the WeWork guy, where like
Yeah.
WeWork collapsed, but apparently somehow he's still worth 2 billion. Like, and in Harry and Meghan's case, they're in the former version, which is like the royal family bullshit. They didn't actually make anything. Like, it's literally
Hmm.
made up. The royal family is made up, and people
Yeah.
pay taxes to this made up institution. If you're rich and in made up nonsense, just stay in the made up nonsense. Like, be filthy rich and fake. That is the best. Like, everyone's trying to get there. All people that are like working the 9 to 5 in the day to day, like can't pay for food. They're struggling to keep their head above water. They're all like, I wish I'd have so much money and I didn't have to do anything. And then Harry and Meghan are living that life,
They're like, I
and
wish I had
they're
something to do.
yeah, and they're like, how dare you fucking accuse us of being in this made up nonsense? And it's like, just accept it. Just your life is made up. You're so goddamn rich. You don't have to do anything for the rest of your life. Just like go away and go live in a castle somewhere.
Yeah, I am gonna go out on the record here and say I really like Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, actually. I
Yeah.
read Prince Harry's book, so
What'd you
I
think?
I was reading it straight from the horse's mouth, which is why I'm hesitant. So a lot of what I got from the book is just how much like bullshit like is in the media. Like
Yeah.
how often that Prince Harry's like, I literally never said that, but I know who the fuck did. Like, I know who lied to the tabloids, or I know, like, so that's why I'm just saying, like, I actually don't believe they said anything about the Family Guy episode.
Mm.
Like, I'm sure they could have said it. Like, the thing is with them is that they could just be like sitting on the couch together, like chilling, and their housekeeper and some other staff are like doing things, and they're just talking amongst themselves like, oh, this that they're not taking us seriously, like bullshit. They're not saying it to like the news.
Yeah.
However, so often that shit happened where it was like they're just like talking amongst themselves, and then it's on like a headline the next day because like somebody betrayed them or whatever. And this is not just Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. This is Prince William. This is like beyond just Harry and Meghan. But
Mm.
so that's why I'm saying, like, I don't know if I really believe that they cared that much. I doubt that they really were like, let's run to the news and talk about this Family Guy episode. I think they're experienced enough to know that, like, just being quiet about dumb shit like that is probably the best way to go
Yeah.
about it. Like, just be quiet and mind your business. So I don't know, but it is curious. I did see that things weren't looking too great because they got that Netflix deal. And in the deal was like they had to do like a few
Yeah.
series or
Yeah.
something. So they kind of
Yeah.
they had their one, which was pretty successful. Like we all wanted to know the tea. And then I know Prince Harry was doing like the Invictus Games one, but people were like, that's really not even juicy. Like we want actual like we want to know your secrets.
Yeah. I think that's
So
yeah, I just want to say first, you read the book. You've been paying more attention to the actual royal family debacle, which I'm sure the book goes into plenty of detail. So it's entirely possible. I would not doubt it for a second that Harry and Meghan are just kind of, like you do on a Sunday brunch, you're just amongst friends, and maybe there's some people at the party that you're not really friends with, they're just kind of acquaintances, and they're
yeah,
talking shit over champagne.
totally.
Oh, did you see that Family Guy episode that made fun of you guys? And Megan's like, yeah, that's fucking bullshit, like
Yeah.
fuck
Yes.
Family Guy, and then of because these articles again, it says a source close to the family, which could be
Exactly.
literally anyone.
Yes.
So it is entirely possible that they could just go run to, whatever tabloid is in the UK and go, yeah, I was at a party with Meghan and she said this, and it's not a direct quote, but this is the sentiment, and they just label it as a
This stuff happens
source.
all the time because you know what that source gets? Money.
Yeah.
They get paid for that.
Yeah.
So that stuff happens all the time. So, yeah, I want people to know that. I guess I'm so obsessed with media, so I try to be pretty good at like reading into things and being like, I don't think that actually came from them. That probably came from just, somebody that was at the house or the party and wanted a quick $800 or
Yeah.
$1,000 or who knows what the running rate is for telling secrets. This isn't that juicy of a secret, but
Yeah.
there are people that make like huge money and will do that to their own kids. Cough cough. Britney Spears' parents and other
Yeah.
things like that, where it's like they're making tons of money out of like telling all those secrets of somebody else.
Yeah, it would be funny to if this quote unquote source that was an acquaintance of Harry and Meghan was invited to a party, and the source was being so obvious about it, like they're just like, so guys, they're just going down the list. What did you think of that Family Guy
They have
episode?
like the little microphone that you
Yeah,
see on all the TikToks.
yeah, the lapel mic is just
Yeah.
coming out of her bra. She has her phone flipped down on the table with a backup mic. So how did that Family Guy episode made you feel? I mean, I would imagine if you had, a platform like, a newspaper or tabloid that could give your
Yeah.
sentiment to millions of people, you might feel a certain way about this episode, and maybe, let them know what I know. No pressure, but just like, give me your deepest, darkest thoughts. It'll just stay
Yeah.
between us.
Tell me more.
Yeah. And they're like,
Yeah.
I think Susan's definitely the mole. Like she
Yeah.
comes with a list of stories. She literally Google searches our name before every party and has just recent stories about shit that goes down in the royal family.
Yeah. No,
She's
I
the only one
think
who
that's
takes
for
notes
real.
with her champagne. Like
It's the only one hitting record on her phone all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. But
But
yeah.
yeah, no, I am interested to know what goes on with like Prince Harry and Meghan, and because I did see, like I said, I saw a TMZ headline, which TMZ is usually on their shit for the most part. So they were like, yeah, there's a little bit of trouble going on there because they aren't really delivering on the contract for that
Yeah.
like $100 million deal, because Netflix wants actual stuff that's going to get good ratings, not. I mean, the Invictus Games, I think, is actually an important documentary, but I understand what the people want is just tea about like the royal family and
Didn't they
whatnot.
make a huge deal with Spotify too? Because I saw something about the
Yeah.
CEO of Spotify. I think he called them like bitches or something. He
Well, I
said a
know they had
curse
a
word.
deal, like it was like Archwell Media or whatever Productions, which is like Harry and Meghan's production company, signed with Spotify, and it was for like Meghan's podcast archetypes.
Yeah.
But I don't really know anything else beyond that. And I admit I've only listened to one episode of that podcast. So
Yeah, I can't find the exact quote, but it was like maybe I don't want to say because I don't remember the exact word, but I was surprised that the CEO of Spotify would say something that publicly angry. And then I saw another story about how Megan was supposed to do a podcast for Spotify. Maybe it was the Archetypes podcast. And instead of interviewing people, she was just recording her questions and then having someone else do the actual
really?
interview. And they were
No.
just splicing her answers into.
I don't know. Yeah. I only listened to the first episode, which had Serena Williams in it. And I know for a fact that Megan and Serena are genuinely friends and were
Yeah.
for sure in the same room.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I didn't listen to anything beyond that. To be completely candid, like Meghan Markle does not, people hate Meghan Markle for like no reason. I don't like or dislike Meghan Markle. Like I have no I think more people need to realize that that is a stance you can take. You
Yeah.
can actually just not care that much and
Yeah.
just let people live their lives. You don't have to hate them. You don't have to love them. You can
Yeah.
just let people exist and
No,
it'll be
yeah.
okay.
I think that's a great point. If I was Meghan Markle's PR person, I would say, look, people don't know shit about you. They read headlines, they say stuff, and obviously a lot of the things we say are for comedic takes and just trying to like
Oh, totally.
have some sort of point of view, but like a lot of people seriously despise her because of the
Yes.
perception of
Hmm.
Harry and Meghan leaving the royal family. I think that, and you alluded to this before, that if Harry and Meghan just go, all right, like we've wiped our hands clean of the royal family, we're never going back. Let's do a legit tell-all, not a PG,
Hmm.
like this is kind of what happened in the royal family, but like just an unequivocal, totally transparent podcast or series about this is what it's like to be in the royal family, the good, the bad, just the truth. I think people would forget pretty much everything about how it left if someone gave us the first piece of content that truly was a total insight into what it's like being a royal, because
I
Princess
think they
Diana did that.
try.
Princess
Yeah,
Diana
exactly.
did
I think
that.
it's kind of, yeah,
She
but
gave
it's
interviews.
dangerous.
She gave interviews,
Yeah.
and obviously ended up getting chased by
That's what I think
paparazzi and
the issue
dying.
is that like
Yeah.
it's actually really dangerous. And when you just from somebody like my TikTok algorithm kind of, especially when Prince Harry's book was coming out, it was kind of filled with some like royal stuff. And you would be shocked. And I even know this because I work for a production company and I'm the only American on the team and everybody else is British. Their opinions on Prince Harry and Meghan are vastly different than American opinions because over here in America, we're kind of like we love Princess Diana for one. So
Mm.
we are kind of anti-monarchy, really. So we
Yeah.
welcome Prince Harry and Meghan in the sense that we're like, yeah, fuck the royal family. Let's hear about it. In the UK, it is so different that it's alarming. They hate Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. So it
Mm.
is like they have kind of been like this book was a thick ass book. I mean, Prince Harry's book was big and you get a lot of drama and like just, whether it's factual or not, because everybody with time, like your perception of an event warps, like no
Yeah.
matter what. And it is your perception. So I think he told his truth. Whether it is the truth, who knows, right? There's always like
Yeah.
two truths and then what actually happened. So who really knows? But I do think they try to do that. And us Americans are cool with it. But the British people, absolutely not. They ride or die with that monarchy. And that just shows you that like propaganda and
Yeah.
media are serious, serious things in the world.
Yeah. And also nationalism too. Like
Yes. Yeah.
I don't even
Absolutely.
know if you would call it that, more like royal
I mean, yeah,
family
but it's the
ties.
same
Yeah.
exactly. It's this
Nationalism for the
t
royal family,
yeah.
essentially.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, what do people that you work with think of Princess Diana? Because she also spoke a lot
Oh, they
out, like,
go, "Oh,
against the
yeah."
royal
They
family.
like Princess Diana because I think, she's dead for one.
Yeah, they're like, fuck that
So,
bitch.
well, so they have, like anybody that passes away, like, you're kind of able to just immediately, like, just start paying respects to. I I don't know, like, if she was still alive, I think yeah, I don't think that they would I think things would be different,
Yeah,
honestly. So, yeah, I don't know because I was just shocked, like, not that all my coworkers are like, "Yeah, fuck Prince Harry," but just their kind of apprehension. Like, I could clearly tell that the way I thought about them was different. So
yeah,
I can't say how they really feel, but I just could tell that like yeah, it's a different. They have a different story. They
yeah,
mourn the loss of Prince Harry. I would
yeah.
say is a really specific take like that I got from them. They mourn the
Mm,
loss cuz Prince Harry was like the little brother that you know, he used to go out, like there's so many pictures of him like out drunk, like just doing normal shenanigans. So they looked to him as like he's like the cool royal family member. And then
Yeah.
they hate Meghan Markle because as soon as she came into his life and he, I don't know, decided he fell in love and wanted to like marry her and be a normal guy
How
with
dare
a wife
he?
and kids,
How dare
that like
he?
it was the worst thing ever. Like he changed and it's all her fault. And that's basically the vibe that I get. So they mourn the loss of him and they do not like her because they blame it on her.
Yeah. I mean, look, hey, Harry and Meghan, if you want to break your takes on breaking takes,
Yeah.
come. We know you're listening. We know you're watching.
Yeah.
Come tell your story. We're not gonna tee you up. Typical, BBC Piers Morgan questions. We'll let you talk. We're just gonna have some fun. We'll laugh. We'll cry. We'll hug. We'll get to the bottom of it. And
That's right.
maybe we'll do a breaking take series, and we'll give you $100. We don't have 100 million, but that's deal I'm willing to offer right now. Dead serious,
Absolutely.
$100 right
I
now
would
for
love
a
to chat
6-part
with
series
him.
with Harry and Meghan. Breaking takes
Exactly.
exclusive.
And we're going to ask the real hard hitting questions.
Yeah. Like, what do the queen's armpits smell like when she sweats? I want to know, is she a sweaty
Probably
person?
mothballs, or I bet she smelled good.
Yeah. How fucked up does the queen really get? Because that's something you hear, she's drinking the champagne in the
think she
morning, the
does.
gin and tonics by
Yeah,
noon.
I don't think she got fucked up. I think she just like was the ultimate badass
Yeah.
at like holding her own. So
Yeah.
I can't imagine her actually being drunk.
And of course, we'd have to ask about Prince Charles and Jeffrey Epstein. I feel like our listeners would
Prince Andrew.
Prince Andrew, sorry.
Maybe
Now
Prince
King
Charles, too.
Yeah.
It's King Charles.
Yeah, first King Charles weird ass hands, and then Prince
Yes.
Andrew, and
Throwing it back to the very first
Jeffrey
episode of Breaking
Epstein,
Takes.
100%. So yeah, I'm looking forward to their response, and that you've clarified my position, which I appreciate, because you're right. There's a lot of it, and there's a lot in the media. We don't know what's going on. We're not with Harry and Meghan. There's a lot of devilish, deceiving, opportunistic people lurking in the shadows.
There really are.
During talking and eavesdropping, and they'll sell themselves out for $80. So, you never know what's true and what's not.
Absolutely. You got to read between the lines, people.
100%.
Wake up.
Wake up. Wake up. If you want to wake up, if you want to get enlightened, you can check out Breaking Takes Premium, because that's really where you're gonna wake up.
Yes.
For $5 a month, bonus episodes. We can go even harder on those because we're not putting them on YouTube. They're not fully public, so the internet would have to get taken down for those episodes to get. China would have to take out the U.S. grid system for Breaking Takes and they might, because
that is a scary thought.
We're making a lot of noise in China. The Chinese Communist Party is not a fan of Breaking Takes because we've made fun of China, but we've also made fun of other countries too. We made fun of a lot of shit.
Made
fun of Kim Jong-un. So.
Absolutely, and I'll do it again.
Yeah, I'll fuck it. I'll take it right to that fucker's face. I swear to God, I'll go over there with Dennis Rodman, and I'll have him on the show, and I'll make fun of him to his face, and I'll say, you can make fun of me. This is how it happens. This is how we become closer. So breakingtakes.supercast.com for bonus episodes. Subscriber only AMAs. You can have the ability to suggest topics and questions for us to riff and raff on, and then also, of course, rate us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify to get the word out there, to make us appear higher in searches, and
write us a review.
Write us a review.
Share your thoughts.
Yes, we'll read a review. The next show we see the recent reviews, we'll read those on the next show, no matter what they are. Be honest, be upfront, be bold. Give us the tea. Give us the tea like people are dropping tea in the royal family. So just give it to us hard, and we'll read it on Breaking Takes.
Yep, will do.
Yeah. We'll see you guys next time.
See you guys next time. Thanks for listening.
Good day.